Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
So today we shall continue the second part of Grand Secret, and where we had learned the last lesson that the grand secret is there is only one existence, one player, one actor. He's also the director, he's everything. So there can never be another existence but him. To the Sufis' eyes, spiritual eyes, based on knowledge, certainty of knowledge, and therefore the Sufi has a certainty of vision that the only existence apparent is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no two existence. All the time there's one. And he's having fun with himself, with nobody else. So that have to be borne in mind during the lectures on Grand Secret, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and so on and so forth, to bear in mind at the back of our mind that there's only one existence all the time. They cannot be two. As we had learned the last week, Imam Imran Hussein said, if there are two existence at the beginning, then monotheism, the concept of monotheism collapses. Because at the beginning there's two instead of one. So therefore we had concluded, and many Sufis before me had concluded, that when he commanded be, since there's nobody else, so he commanded it to himself. It's like a person singing in the bathroom while he's bathing. Since there's nobody else in the bathroom, he's singing to himself. Same when Allah said be, he spoke to himself. And there are two verses in the Quran where he commanded to himself that his mercy precede his anger. Or that he commanded himself to be loved, to have love for his creations. The two verses that where he commanded himself. And the hadith, Rasulullah said he commanded himself that his mercy precedes his anger. So when he's commanded be, because there is no other existence except him, then he was talking to himself. And a fine portion of it, fine part of him, or subtle part, or fine part, or infinitely small, or quintessence of his part, small part of him, manifested and become the whole creation, including space and time. A fine part of him, not all. Have that in mind too. Okay? And this is the certainty of knowledge. Is commanded to himself, a fine part of him, or the subtle part, become the creation, the whole creation, including space and time. Okay? Become, I meant to be transformed or manifested or transformed, like water transformed to ice. The ice, for sure, 100% is water. Only the ice transformed, change its features from soft to hard. When it's soft is water, it hardened, become ice. But definitely, the ice, the manifestation is water harden itself. Okay, so where that is my certainty of knowledge. When you see ice, you can see water, and that is certainty of vision. Certainty of knowledge, the ice transform itself by hardening, become ice. Okay, water hardening itself become ice. That is the certainty of knowledge. Certainty of vision is when you see the ice, you know that is 100% water. That is certainty of vision. So the Sufi, from the certainty of knowledge that all creations is from this fine portion or fine part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the subtle part, not the whole, only a fine part, a quintessence or infinitesimal or fine part or subtle part of it become the creations, including space and time. All that exists is from this fine part of it, or the subtle part. Okay, so when a Sufi sees a creation, any creation, they can go behind that existence because they have knowledge to see that this existence comes from that fine or subtle part of God. And that's why Jesus said, this subtle part of God, not bigger than a particle of sand. We can see that. Okay? So bear that in mind, the certainty of knowledge that all creation, including space and time, are transformation of the subtle part of God. Okay? From the eyes of the Sufi, their primary vision, not secondary vision, primary vision, they see the existence of the subtle part of God every time they see creation. What they did was they annihilate the creations, including essence. They annihilate, then they see the omnipresent. That is the subtle part of Allah. And that is not estranged from Allah Himself. And therefore, when you see that finer part of Allah, or the subtle part, you are seeing Him also. Because these are not estranged, like a tail of an elephant and the elephant. Okay? So that is the certainty of knowledge. All that you see, the creations, including space and time. When I say space, include all the planets and all that, everything, including space and time, even time, are all within this subtle part of it, manifested or transformed from the minute part of it, not the whole, minute, fine part, subtle part. That's why I say, I'm the subtle. Okay? Once we have this knowledge that all that we see is the transformation of this subtle part of Him, then every time we see creation, we annihilate it mentally, or with knowledge, we annihilate it, and we see that subtle part of it. So that's why I say, I'm the manifest, I'm the hidden. Everything perish. I mean, everything you annihilate, that remain will be me. That is the subtle part behind all this. So when you annihilate all this, everywhere you turn, there is my countenance, this subtle part of it. Okay? So that is the certainty of knowledge every time you annihilate creation, all the creation, be it the essence or being it creation, other creations, you annihilate all, then you can witness and feel the existence of the subtle part of it. Certainty of vision based on knowledge. And you are seeing with your spiritual eyes based on knowledge, not with your physical eyes. Okay? So bear that in mind, certainty of knowledge bring about certainty of vision. It's like looking at the wooden desk or wooden table. And you know it comes from the tree. So you know there's certainty of knowledge, the wooden table come from the tree. There's certainty of knowledge. Therefore, you can, when you see table, you can see the tree. Certainty of vision. You see the rice. You see the paddy field. Certainty of vision. The knowledge that the rice comes from the paddy field. You see creation. Certainty of knowledge from the subtle part of it. Because creations come from the subtle part of it, including the essence. So the essence is obligatory existence, and other creations are probable existence. Both of them are creation. So creation comes from the subtle part of it. Okay? Bear that in mind. So certainty of knowledge bring about certainty of vision as given in the verse Surah At-Takasur. Right? Not only that, you can see even hellfire. So once we understood this, okay, the certainty of knowledge bring about certainty of visions, then once you have this knowledge and the certainty of vision, that's where Allah said, thou were heedless of this. Because you don't have certainty of knowledge, you can't see. You can't have the certainty of vision. When you have certainty of knowledge, then you have certainty of vision. So thou were heedless of this. That means that before you don't have the certainty of knowledge. Therefore you are blind. Okay? And now we remove this veil, and your eyesight, your spiritual sight is now very sharp, very sharp. Once this certainty of knowledge acquired, there comes the certainty of vision. You are no longer blind, but your spiritual sight is very sharp. It's very sharp. The veil is lifted. So how this happened? In short, they annihilate themselves. That means they annihilate all creation. They annihilate all creation, all existence, they annihilate. And thus, they are face to face with the subtle part of it, which is part of Allah, and therefore is the omnipresent. And thus they are called Abdal, the changed one. That means now you are a changed person because you are seeing, you have certainty of vision. You are not like others who only can see the facade, not behind the facade. But you, without certainty of knowledge, have the certainty of vision to see behind the facade. Because the facade you have annihilated. Okay? As seen in this example, you annihilate the creations. It's called Nafi, annihilate. And you annihilate essence. Also, you Nafi the essence. And both are probable existence and obligatory existence. Both are existent. Okay? And what remains? The container. The container is part of Allah, the omnipresent. Okay? So when you annihilate everything, including yourself, you annihilate, then you are face to face with the container, and of course, with Allah. And you cannot annihilate the container because Allah is eternal. You can annihilate the creation. You can annihilate the essence, which is obligatory existence. You can annihilate the creation, probable existence. You can annihilate the essence, which is obligate existence, but you cannot annihilate the container. The container is eternal. So when you annihilate the creation, because it's probable, it's temporary, it's manifestation, or the essence, also temporary manifestation, you can annihilate, then you are face to face with the container. And that's part of Allah, the omnipresent. So you are face to face with the omnipresent. Okay? So how you annihilate? By have certainty of knowledge. Then you can annihilate. So you see, that's why Jesus said, that you can see example of Prophet Abraham, alayhi salam. He saw the planet. He said, this must be my God at night. Okay, he see the moon. Oh, this must be my God. It was big and shining. Then when the moon set, he said, hey, I do not love anything that can disappear. Then he saw the sun rising. So this is my Lord. Then the sun set. He said, hey, I don't like this thing that can disappear. Then he keep on watching. He saw with certainty of knowledge, nighttime the moon come out, daytime the sun come out. He saw this system, Now with certainty of knowledge that the sun definitely come out in the day and the moon come out in the night, he got the certainty of vision. There is a designer, because this is a design, a system. There must be the maker, the maker of the system. So he annihilate the moon, annihilate the stars and the sun with a certainty of knowledge that this must come from the maker, and he was enlightened. And so you can see, thus did we show Abraham the kingdom of the heaven and earth. So he annihilate the sky, the planet in the sky, the moon. He annihilate the sun, annihilate the earth. Then he saw that there is the maker. Okay, which is so you can see. Thus we show Abraham the kingdom of the heaven and the earth, that he be one of those who have faith with certainty. Now he is, of course, when he annihilate all this, he is certain that there is a maker. And with his certainty of knowledge, he has certainty of vision that he's facing the maker. And therefore you can see Allah commanded everything perish. That means when you annihilate everything, that remains my container, because that you cannot annihilate, because that is eternal. Everything else you can annihilate, but not my container. So when a Sufi annihilate everything before him, he's bound to accept the certainty of vision. Now he is facing the omnipresent, even though he can't see, but he knows he's facing the omnipresent. Okay? So, and Allah said, all that live on earth or in heaven, you annihilate them, and you see that remain is my container, that subtle part of me, right? And that is part of our Lord of might and glory. Okay, so when we talk all this, wherever you turn, there is Allah's container. So you can see, once we know that the certainty of knowledge, from the container transformed to essence, the first existence, the essence transformed into Lawh Mahfuz, all other existence. So actually, in fact, the essence and the Lawh Mahfuz are transformation of the container. So you see here, when you annihilate the Lawh Mahfuz, left the essence. When you annihilate the essence, there, the container. So this is the vision, certainty of vision of the Sufi based on certainty of knowledge. Okay? But whatever we may say, it is just, the container is just a subtle existence. We can see here, it's a small, fine, infinitesimal, quintessence, fine, subtle, it's small. You compare to Allah, much, much bigger. This small, the container is small, fine. So you see, it's subtle. So the container is subtle, infinitesimal, quintessence, or fine, F-I-N-E, fine. Okay? And we are talking about the tail of the elephant, not the elephant. That makes us different from the belief of the Wahdatul Wujud. There is one existence, the pantheism. Make us different from pantheism, which is talking that behind everything, there is the elephant. We say no, that's the tail of the elephant. So what we are saying, behind everything is just the infinitesimal continent, fine, subtle part of him, not the whole of him. Okay? Not the exalted, but the subtle part of it. So what we are talking all along in this lesson and throughout this lesson, all the time, is that subtle part of it. So remember, this subtle part of him fit the Lawh Mahfuz, but not the exalted part of him. Cannot. That is outside the Lawh Mahfuz. You see this one. See this one. The container is just like the tail. We're talking about the tail. The container transform, become Lawh Mahfuz. That small. You cannot put Allah, the exalted, into that container, which is very tiny, very subtle, very fine. You cannot put it there. So all the time we say that you are facing him is the container. And because of the container, we can understand what is Allah exalted, vast, most high, and so on from the container. So all the time we are talking of the tail of the elephant. We are talking about the tail, not the whole elephant. So remember, when I say everywhere you turn, there is no container. The container is just the tail, the subtle part of it, okay? Not the whole part, because that is the transformation that becomes the essence and the Lawh Mahfuz. It's not the whole self, but that subtle part. So that's why Jesus said, all creation, including time and space, put into one, is less than a grain of sand to God. And he added, just like a drop of water from the ocean. Okay? That how small our creation is. All the creation put together is less than a grain of sand. And in the Big Bang theory, is lesser than subatom. Everything put together is lesser than subatom, Higgs boson. And the Holy Prophet said, the seven heavens, seven heavens and the earth. We can put earth in bracket because we thought there's only one earth, but in actual fact, there are many earths up there, which we call exoplanets, same like our earth. The seven heavens and the earth are but a lint seed to Allah, just like a lint seed. That's small. Okay? So when we talk about the container, it's a subtle part of it, not the whole part of it. Okay? And because everywhere you turn, when you annihilate the existence, the creation, you annihilate, you will face to face with a container which is there, though you can't see, you know from certainty of knowledge, it's there, you're facing it, and it's facing you. That you cannot annihilate because it's eternal, it's part of Allah, the subtle part. So everywhere you turn, there's only one existence. There cannot be two. If there's two, he cannot be infinite because we are sharing his existence. If there is two, then we are sharing his power. It cannot be absolute power because we exist, we have power. There are many more. We'll go this in detail in later lectures to see that what you see is actually the manifestation of one existence and one control, one controller and all that. You see later. But this, we continue with our lecture right now. Only one existence. And he say he's the manifest and the hidden. So you see creations, they are his manifestation. You see the essence, that is also his manifestation. Okay? And behind it is the content. So he's the manifest, he's the hidden. Okay. Is there any else, any existence? No, there's no other existence. This verse itself conclude and evident conclusively that there is one existence. This verse is a conclusive evidence that there's one existence. The externalism, the internalism, there's no other existence. It's the manifest and it's the hidden. And this is the verse that proves it. That there's only one existence. You don't exist. And so he's the striker, he's the back, goalkeeper, midfielder, referee, linesman, all him. Right? All him. Only one existence. And that's what Jesus said. Okay? See what Jesus said. Philip, God is good, without which there is not good. Yes. He's the only one good. Okay, so we come from him, so we become good also because we from him, not from elsewhere. God is a being without which there is not. So we come from him. Otherwise, we don't exist. Our existence comes from him. That's why inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. From him and to him we shall return. Okay? God is life without which there is not a life. Not life. That means, look, even our life is part of him. So great that he feels all and is everywhere. That is subtle, his subtle part. Engulf everything. So you thought the atom engulf everything like our person. We have 1 trillion atom in our body. That we are comprised of 1 trillion atom. But that atom is also engulfed by him. Okay? That atom, because the atom is creation. That transformed from his subtle part of him. There is a transformation of his subtle part of him that become atom, and let the atom become creation. So even the atom come from him. Okay, so he feel everywhere. If the atom feel everywhere, he also, his subtle part feel everywhere. He alone had no equal. Of course, only one existed. How to compare? That's why he gave us his subtle part. We can compare him with his subtle part. If I show you my finger, then you can know I'm bigger than the finger. I cannot show any other finger because there will be two existence. Cannot. There's only one reason, that is me. To show that I'm exalted, vast and high, you know, I show you the subtle part of me that become the whole creation before you, including space and time. And because you understood the subtle part of me, then you know, if that subtle part of me engulfs everything that you see, including space and time, therefore I'm most high, most exalted, most vast. I'm very big, very, very big. And Jesus say, you just can't measure him, the vastness of Allah, the greatness of God. Okay? So therefore, he had no equal. He engulfed everything. That we're talking about, his containment or his subtle part, engulfed everything that you see, and he has no equal. He had no beginning. Yes. What it means that before creation were there, his subtle part is there. Okay? So his subtle part, when the creation perished, his subtle part is still there. So he had no beginning, no end. But to everything had he given beginning, and to everything shall he give an end. And that is why I say there are two Armageddon, not one. Two. You see again this one. But to everything had he given beginning, and everything shall he give an end. There are many believe that when we enter paradise, will be eternal. Cannot be. Then there's no end. We have no end. We have beginning but no end. It cannot be, because it's very clear. We have beginning and we have end. So even the first Armageddon occurred, we all entered paradise. But there's a verse in the Quran, we say, stay ye in the paradise as long as the sky and the earth of paradise remain. We see later this will be destroyed later. And when this is destroyed, as well, everything perished, that remain my containment. That is the second part, the second Armageddon. That is where Allah says, where you are dead, I resurrected you. There's another death waiting for you, and there's a second death where the second Armageddon shall occur. In the end, everything annihilated that remained him. Once again, alone, as the Prophet said, at the beginning he's alone, nothing was with him, nothing. Okay? So we have an end. Don't say we go to paradise forever, eternal, no. Then we don't have an end, then we are on par with Allah, because he didn't die, we also didn't die. You know, we will die. The second one, the second Armageddon, everything perished that remained my container. The first Armageddon is the other verse. All in heaven and earth shall perish. That shall be my container. That's the first Armageddon. All heaven and earth shall perish. That remain my Armageddon. But Siratul Muntaha is still there. Water under the throne is still there. The throne is there. The veil of light is still there. And the first Armageddon, Allah said, all died except those which are accepted. And to my mind, there is the eighth angel that holding the throne. Okay? And maybe Gabriel. They don't die. First Armageddon. All heaven and earth will perish except those are accepted and remain my container. That's why the heaven and earth disappear. That area become 40 years in darkness. In darkness. And they say that area will become the paradise from there. Okay, some of the scholars, Islamic, for that area will be the area of paradise. We will see this later. The second Armageddon, when the verse says everything perished, everything, including the throne, the veil, the Suratul Muntaha, there's the administrative center, divine administrative center, also perished. That remained my container. That is a second Armageddon. And in the end, he's left alone again. Okay? So everything have beginning, everything have an end, but not him. He had no father, no mother, he had no son, no brethren, brothers, no companion. And because God had no body like us, so you cannot imagine him to be like a person sitting on a chair. You cannot imagine him as a person. He got no body. Therefore, he eat not, sleep not. So how is he? We don't know. No information. That's why we cannot visualize him. And that's wrong. He died not, walk not, move not, but abide eternally without human similitude. Similitude, don't have. It's incorporeal. That means we cannot understand. Uncompounded matter, we cannot even imagine him. Immaterial of the simple substance. You don't know how he is. He's so good that he loves goodness only. He's so just that when he punish or pardon, it cannot be gainsaid. You see? So he cannot be cruel. We see this later. In short, I say to thee, Phillips, that here on earth thou cannot see him, nor know him perfectly, but in his kingdom thou shalt see him forever, wherein consists all our happiness and glory. Yes, when in paradise, now we can only maybe feel his existence 0.1%. But in paradise, we can feel his existence 100%. But because we will not die, we can bear it. But in this world, even if 5% will die, 5% to feel his existence, we are gone. But in paradise, we will not die anymore. So we can feel his existence 100%. That makes us holistic. And therefore in paradise, there's no, it's stated in the Quran, no baby being born. Everybody holistic. The desire for all this not there. All this very holistic. And you will not speak anything that is dirty or evil and so on, because we are so holistic. So we feel his existence 100%. And therefore, they call it the bidadari, or the maid of the paradise, which they say are beautiful. But because of our holistic nature, we don't notice it. To us, they are just like just a maid serving us in paradise. Okay. That means we are so holistic, we are not bothered with all this. That we are bothered in this world, it's not bothering us. All the time we feel his existence. And that made us very clean. And there's no more Satan tempting us no more. Okay? So our desire are very holistic. Okay? So no nonsense. That's why he said here. You say, wherein consists all our happiness and glory, because we can feel him. By saying, in his kingdom thou shalt see him forever. See him means, as I say, certainty of vision. Okay? Certainty of vision that we are seeing him. And that certainty of vision is 100%. Now maybe 0.1%. Down there 100%, because we will not die. We already died. Okay, so we can bear it, but not now. Okay, there was this story of a Sufi who heard a maid, of a wealthy family singing in praise of Allah. He was so enchanted by the wording, the lyrics of the song sang by this maid. So he said, "Can you repeat that please again, the song?" So the maid obliged and sing again the lyric praising Allah. And the Sufi second time could not take it. He fell down to the earth and died. See, sometimes God is great. He didn't give us that impact so great that will kill us. Okay. So, but in paradise, you can feel it. The certainty of vision is great. Okay. But in his kingdom, thou shalt see him, that certainty of vision. And that is happiness and glory. Even when we get the 0.1% now, that is also happiness and glory. But that one we have to maintain very well. Because Satan all the time trying to tempt us like they have tempted our forefather Adam and Eve. So they would do that to us. They want to kick us up from our holistic condition. Okay? But in paradise, there's no more Satan. Therefore, we can feel him, and we can have certainty of vision looking at him. And of course, this is the best thing that will happen to us in paradise, and that is our happiness and glory. Okay? To feel and the certainty of vision of the existence of God himself. And that time, we feel the existence of God. And that time still, we are talking about his container, not him, the exalted, still the container. But that is already enough. The holistic vision is enough for us to make us very holistic. Okay? So now, if so far we've lectured and we had come to understand there's only one existence all the time to a Sufi, because he annihilates all before him. There left the container, certainty of knowledge brings certainty of vision. Okay? And as such, he realized that every action that you see is the action of the container through the essence and through creation. He's the one. He's just looking at the car. You know the car didn't move. The one that caused it to move is the engine of the car. Not the form, not the driver, but the engine. The engine starts and then it moves. Same here, where you see human action is not the form that you see. It's not the essence that is the container manipulating the essence and the creation. And what you see from the front, the facade, you see the human being in action or creation in action. But if you look, the primary vision, not secondary, because secondary is also creation, the essence also creation. You see the primary vision, so the container is moving everything. It's just like you see the Indonesian wayang kulit. You see the appearance on the white cloth. No? You see the appearance of this shadow or whatnot, the wayang kulit, on this white screen, but behind him, there's the man moving it and talking. So that is the concept. Every time you see creation, you know that is the natural vision. The secondary vision, that is the essence. The primary vision, that is the container. The container is acting, is in action through the essence and the creation, through the essence and the other creations. So it's the action of the container behind the scene. So for Sufi, with certainty of vision, because certainty of knowledge, he sees that the action of the creation are but the actions of the container. Okay, all the time. Okay. So therefore, when the Prophet was at war in the Battle of Uhud, he was shooting arrow at the enemy, and some got killed. So the Quraysh, the enemy, shouted, "How can a prophet send to his people, kill his people?" So the prophet, or the prophet, was taken aback. Then come this verse down. It's not you who killed them, O Muhammad. It was me. I the one who killed. It's not you who threw the sand over their head, but it was me who threw it. So we saw the prophet did all that. The one in the Battle of Uhud, he shot the arrow. And before that, they want to try to kill him. And he managed to escape and throw sand over their head. But also, this is my action, not yours. But we saw the prophet did that. That's why what you saw, the action of the creation. Because of certainty of knowledge, you know that creation actions, in actual fact, are the action of the container who operated through the essence and through the creation. So that's why he said, I was the one who killed. I the one who threw the sand, not you. So in other words, we can see here, if you annihilate, let's say Muhammad is the creation, you annihilate Muhammad and the essence, and you see it is the container, the subtle part of him that is in action. Okay? And therefore he said, verily we carry the children of Adam on land and sea. But we saw taxis, cars, buses, trains, ships, carrying the children of Adam. Why he said he? When we have this primary vision, and we don't look at the natural vision or secondary vision, a Sufi will always have this primary vision. He saw that the action of this carrier are but the action of the container behind the scene, manipulating. Okay? So there's only one player everywhere you turn. That is my container, one player all the time. So you see his vision transgress creation and essence straight to the container. So this is a Sufi spiritual vision. All the time, primary vision, the container, not the secondary vision, which is the essence, or the natural vision, which is creation. His vision all the time, he annihilates the creation, the essence. He only sees certainty of no vision, the container. Okay? So everything is the act of the container. And therefore, Shaykh Abdul Qadir said, verily all in the hand of Allah. That means everything is the act of the container. Be it good or bad, he has certain them from the outside. All is the action of the container. And he say, they say, if we have any, can we interfere in this affair? I mean, in our affair or any affair, can we interfere? And what Allah says, say, indeed, every affair is wholly in Allah's hand. Say, all things are from Allah. They all are from this. With certainty of vision, all these actions are but the action of the container. That's why all things are from Allah. I mean, all actions are but the action of the container. But what has come to these people that they fail to understand a single fact because they are blind. They could only see the natural vision. There is the action of the creation. They didn't even have a secondary vision to see the action of the essence behind the other creations. So how are they going to have the primary vision to see the container behind all this? They can only see the natural vision. And therefore, say they are blind. Okay? And therefore, when you see this, that the container is the one manipulating the essence and the law of Mahfuz of the creation, then it makes sense, but truly the command is Allah in all things. Yes. The container is manipulating the essence, which is the obligatory existence, and the creation, which is probable existence. Okay? No change will thou ever find in God's way, yet no deviation will thou ever find in God's way. Yes. Because the action of the creation are but the action of the essence, are but the action of the container. So the container manipulating the essence and the other creation. So therefore, if he's the one that doing all these things, how they can be changed? He's the one doing it. So which of my favor you deny? The which that I'm doing, my doing, which you deny. Everything is doing. You cannot deny it. No way. And which is my favor? Sorry, which is my gift? Which is my gift? Will thou dispute? Everything is his action. Everything. You cannot dispute. Because he's the only existent. And therefore, he understood this. And when Moses said, why you kill that boy? Oh, he did. Why you damage people's sheep? And what he did say, I did it not on my own accord. He knew. These are but the action of the container. Okay? And so you can see here, Jesus also understood it. And what Jesus said. Because every action is the action of the container. Not the creation or the essence, but the container. So Jesus said, if one slap you on the face, or one side of the face, give him the other to slap. Jesus says, don't fight. Submit. Right? Jesus, because it's all the action of the container, the action of God. He slap you on the left, God, you can slap me on the right, because you are slapping your own self. Okay? Render not evil for evil, for so do all the worst animal. They will be like animal. But render good for evil, pray God for them that hate you. Fire is not extinguished by fire, but rather with water. Even so I say unto you that ye shall not overcome evil with evil, but rather with good. So if you understood this, you'll be like Abel and Cain. Abel say what? Hey, even though you kill me, I will not harm you or defend myself, because I know it's God action. Right? Even if thou lay thy hand on me to slay me, I shall not lay my hand on thee to slay thee. Behold, I fear God, the sustainer of the world. He understood this concept. He's not fighting back. Okay? Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. You see that later. So he did say to Moses, because he can only see the natural vision, can't even see the secondary or the primary vision. So what Israel said to Moses, how can thou have patience about things about which thou don't understand? You don't understand, so you cannot be patient, O Moses. And this is a parting between you and me. And that's what I'm trying to stress here. We are Sufis. Don't get entangled with the people of the Sharia. They are like Moses. Why you kill that boy? Why you damage people's property? They can only see the natural vision, not the secondary, not the primary vision. So always keep away from the Sharia people. Only see all the time say two existent. Me and Allah, two. Sufi only one. That is why we talked last week for Jabariya. He says that, we human actions are responsible for their actions. Okay? Jabariya say human have no responsibility of their action because all action come from God. Mu'tazila say human got brain, they can think, and therefore they can choose, and therefore they are responsible for their action. And the last one, Ashariya said, human, in certain circumstances, they can use their power to change. In other circumstances, they have to submit to Allah. They can't change. But for Sufi, they say we don't exist. We don't exist. That is a Sufi. So that's why they say, I'm not doing this out of my desire. But he knew these are but what he has to do, And how can you understand this? How can you be patient when you don't understand this? This is the parting between the end. That is why every time Q&A, I'm very, very alert. When you talk about Sharia matter, I tell you, hey, get lost. We are on the world of Sufism. Sharia, go and ask Sharia people. Don't ask us. Okay? We talk on knowledge of God. You want to ask knowledge of God, we can answer. Because it's like a duck and chicken. You don't understand. How can you specialize in gynecology and you want to talk about cancer? Two different fields. Okay? So that's why Allah say, how can you think and you plot or you decide? How can you think and you decide? Woe to you. How can you think and decide? Okay. Woe to you. How can you decide? Woe to you. How can you plot or decide? Okay. Because we don't exist. So how can we say we think? If you say you think, that then you created the thinking, then you are God. And this is my thought. Hey, you are God. The thought belongs to you. You created the thought, you are God. No way. That's why I got to show that you are not the one who created the thought. He have amnesia. He have this Alzheimer. And now old people suffer this forgetfulness. Like, what's the word I forgot? Huh? Always forget, no? Old people. Dementia. Okay. To show to you all that you are not in charge. I am in charge. I always advise my companion, or you are all my companion advice. In the morning you wake up, you look at your mind, it's empty. Then it comes, go and wash your teeth, wash your face, brush your teeth, bath and all. But when you wake up, you sit down, blank. Then the direction comes, what to do. Okay? Have a look at that. Okay? So So what actually here? This is his show, not yours. Hey, you see, and what is it? What is the life of this world but amusement and play, his show. We don't exist. But they interpreted this saying that the life in this world, that we are living in this world, the life in this world is amusement and play for us. What amusement and play? You think at this age, life is amusement and play? At this age, you think life is all the time flowery, good, and there's a lot of pain and suffering, a lot of calamities and whatnot. No, it's never amusement and play. But why he say life amusement? It's himself. He's playing with himself. There's no other existence. He's playing with himself. Like he say, what is the life of this world but amusement and play? He is playing. You say you are playing, then you exist. Then there are two existence. Okay? Then you are sharing his existence. So he cannot be infinite because you are sharing it. No, he's playing with himself. Here again. And nothing in this world but a play and a passing delight for him and not for us. We don't exist. How can passing delight? How can we play? No. You see us playing, but for Sufi, he see that the container is manipulating the essence and the creation to act according to what he wants. Because the creation, the essence are but his transformation of him. So for sure what he wants to act, that's what the creation will do. So in fact, the play and passing delight or amusement and play are but his, so nobody else exists. Okay, it's like singing in the bathroom. You are singing to yourself. You are alone. Even your cat already ran away. They cannot stand your singing. Right? So that's why Stephen Hawking say, how do we know we are not just characters in a computer-generated soap opera? Yeah. Divine soap opera. Okay. Do not those who believe know that had Allah will, you see, he could have guided all mankind. The prophet, only prophet was very sad. Hey, how come, oh Allah? I tried my best to bring them to full be believers. Why there were so many still unbelievers? Why, oh Allah? And what Allah said, hey, Muhammad, if I want the whole world to be believers, I can do so, right? Okay. So not only that, he said, oh, even to us, do not those who believe, even us, Allah said to us, that if you want the whole mankind to be believers, he could. And even to the prophet, he says here, if they are spurning his heart on thy mind, the prophet, yet if thou were able to seek a tunnel in the ground or ladder to the sky and bring them sign, what good of the sign? They won't believe. Because if it Allah wills, he could gather them together onto true guidance. They become true believers. So be not thou among those who are ignorant. Don't be ignorant. What you are looking is the divine play. You got no say. You got no participation. Didn't we saw just now? Everything in the hands of Allah. You got no say, nothing. All right? Mind your business. Don't be ignorant. If I want it this way, show it be this way. Look at this. We know fornication, zina, fornication is a damnation, whether in the Quran, whether in the Torah, or even the Bible. The damnation is an act of damnation. And yet, fornication survived, prostitution survived from old age until now, and still flourishing, still a flourishing business from before until now. Why didn't Allah stop it? It's none of our business. It's His will. He wants everything to be believers. He can do so. And there was a story told. One time, the scientists came out in the article saying that if you put this lightning rod on the roof of your building, when there would be a storm, your building would be safe. Well, the churches could not accept this. They said, no way. Storm that destroy building are but the wrath of Allah, the wrath of God. Nothing that even this lightning rod will not save you. It's the wrath of God. But the prostitution, the brothel, maybe their customer, a lot of scientists, I'm not sure, but they believe the scientists. So every brothel put the lightning rod. Then one day come the storm, and all the churches in that place destroyed, but not the brothels. The prostitute came out with a placard, "Thank you, oh God, for blessing our business." So you see what I'm saying. If Allah wants the whole world to be believers, He can. Why one must be unbeliever and put them in hell? Why? You are empowered to make everybody believers. Even there was writing. He says, what can we do to fight him? It's Almighty. If he condemn us, so be it. We can't fight him. There was writing on this, They're not happy. They are born non-believers, unbelievers, born unbelievers, live as unbelievers and die as unbelievers because it's predestined. They're not happy. But what can we do? He's Almighty. You can't fight him. So what I'm saying, this is his action. He's alone acting on his own, enjoying himself. That's what I say, amusement and play. He himself. Okay. If he wants the whole world to be believers, he can. But he doesn't want, because he wants it this way. This is his play. And he's the one who is the director, he's the one, the actor, same person. Okay. And you can see, not thee or Muhammad to decide whether I shall punish them or not. This is the case where they shot the arrow and injured the prophet. And the companion have to pull out the arrow from the prophet, and his teeth even gave way, the companion. So the prophet was saying, what good shall you have from injuring the prophet who was sent to you? And this Allah say, oh Muhammad, is for you, not for you to decide what good or what no good. Whether he turn in mercy to them or punish them, for they are indeed wrongdoer, but it's nothing to do with you. It's my decision, not yours. The prophet cannot condemn. Because this is his play. We don't exist. He's playing with himself. But if they turn away, your only duty is to deliver the message. That's all. Deliver the message. Like I'm delivering the message, or I'm delivering the knowledge of God, or the lesson on the knowledge of God. I deliver. Whether you accept that, or you understood that, or accepted that, is beyond me. My job is to deliver what I know. So, same here. I cannot dua, supplicate Allah, oh Allah, why many people still don't understand what I'm to deliver? No, I can't. Like here say, if they turn away, your only duty is to deliver the message clearly. So I'm trying to give as clearly as possible. So hopefully many would understand. Now, once you understood that behind the scene is him in action, only him in action, then you can forgive and forget. Otherwise, very difficult. I can forgive, but I cannot forget. The scars still remain. The scars still remain. I cannot forget. Yes. But when you see the action is not that person, the action is action of the container, who is part of God, the subtle part of God, which God himself, then you can forgive. Because you understood the action is not the action of the creation, but the container behind the sin. Then you can forgive and forget. So you see here, once you understood this, be always patient, accept and reconcile with Allah, and immerse yourself into His divine will. Accept what will be, will be. Such be the case, be ever ready to submit, be patient, and hold on strongly to God. You must not be grumpy, never a grumble. Why like that? Why like this? Why my life like that? Why my life like this? No, no grumble. So you have the knowledge, or disheartened with whatever Allah places on you, whether it's good or bad, because you don't exist. He's playing with himself. Accept with open heart whatsoever He had predestined for you. So you can say, why? You don't exist. And what Jesus said, why is the gate of hell? Why? Because you encroach into His power. Why the gate of hell? And Allah said in the Quran, it cannot be questioned, right? Voice act, but you will be questioned. Okay? So, if something happened to you personally, somebody got killed in your family, you got a retarded child, or your son wedding and your brother didn't come, okay? So you're very angry. Or you are sick in the hospital, your brother, sister, sibling never come. So you're very angry. Okay? Or Hari Raya, big festival, Christmas, or like they never come. Okay? You're angry. And when your father died, they never come. So you cannot be angry. These are predestination. Allah has stated that way. He wanted to play that way. Once you knew this, you learn, you have the knowledge that whatever these people are doing is in accordance to what the container want to be, want the action to be. So you forgive and forget. You see your brother, you say, hey, brother, come, have coffee with me at this coffee shop. Have it. Then he say, oh, brother, very sorry, you're sick. I didn't come to see you. No, no problem. Never come, never mind. You see, your relationship with your brother, your sibling will be there. Or you say, oh, sorry, brother. When your children, when your son got married, I could not come. My family also could not come. You are not, don't worry, brother. All right. So if you could accept it, that we don't exist, is the container at play behind the scene, then it will be all right. There will no splitting up of relationship between you and anybody, okay? Because you have learned the secret, the grand secret. And that is personal. General, you can see tsunami, so many killed. Earthquake, so many killed. Fire, so many killed. Flood, so many of your animal husbandry got destroyed. Then the insect, all your plantation gone. And then you see the wreckage, ship, aeroplane, train, cars. Or you can see even the calamity of World War I, World War II. Right? Hopefully not World War III. It will be nuclear. And you can see the Gaza between the Israel, the Hamas, and the Palestine. Okay, will they ever stop? Can they coexist? Right? If they can accept that this knowledge, that everything are but the container in action, then they can forgive. If they have this knowledge, okay, then they can coexist. So you see also China and South Korea never forgive the late Abe for visiting the temple, the shrine in Japan, where in that shrine, you can see the shrine is at the center of international controversy by honoring war criminals convicted by a post-war World War II court, including 14 Class A war criminals. So their dedication in this shrine to these 14 people who are war criminals. So Abe visited it. They are not very happy, this their Sukuni shrine. They're very angry, China and South Korea, because these generals, the one responsible for so many deaths, okay, during the Japanese occupation. So you see, China not happy, South Korea not happy, okay. The Japan, China and South Korea not happy. They cannot forgive because they did not know, they did not understand the concept that it's the container election. So if the container election, the container manipulated the essence and the creation to do what the container wants to do. Okay? So the action, the real action is the container, not creation or the essence. If you understood that, you can forgive and forget. So the Holocaust also, the Jew cannot forgive what happened to them until today, okay? Because this concept not understood. But are those the same with those who understood? Can the blind be held equal to the seeing? And we have this knowledge. And therefore, we understood that no calamity falls on the earth or in yourself, but is inscribed in the book of decrees, law, mahfuz, before we bring it into existence. Verily, that is easy for Allah. So what he has scripted, his container will do it. And the essence has to follow, as well as the creation, because that is the transformation of the container. They will do it. So you see here, he said, you must believe in predestination. What is good, what bad from me. If you don't believe, even you donate gold as high as Mount Uhud, it will never be accepted. Okay? And therefore, because we have the Muslim in Malaya at one time, that is including Singapore, we could accept this predestination, that the container is in action. We can accept the massacre during the occupation of Malaya. You see the one wearing the sarong here, the Malays being killed. We could accept. And therefore the Japanese have no problem coming to Malaysia or Singapore and invest here. No problem, because we don't, we forgive and forget. But they may have problem in China and South Korea. Okay. So why do we how could we accept? Because we have the knowledge. It's not Muhammad who slew, not Muhammad killed, but it's Allah. The container is started part of him. The container that manipulate the essence and the creation Muhammad to act. That's why he said, I'm the one who killed. We understood this. And you see, that is the grand secret. You look at this illustration. Creation, essence, the manifest. The hidden is the container. And that is the grand secret. Every action of the creation and the essence is the action of the container. And that is the grand secret. And that's why you say, hey, it's not you who killed, it's me. It's not the creation or the essence that killed, but it's me behind the scene, the hidden. And that is the grand secret. We could accept this, the world will be at peace. Each act of God, and this Professor Ahad Dawood, he was formerly a bishop, converted, and he wrote this in Muhammad, in the Bible, he said, each act of God, the container, display a divine emanation as its manifestation and particular attribute. So you see, the action of creation are but the emanation or manifestation of the container. Okay? So when you understood this, right? Every time you see the action, you know the action of the container. So everywhere you turn but him. So you see their eyes overflowing with tears for what they recognize of the truth. It's not the creation kill, it's not the essence kill. The essence and the creation are but the transformation of the container. That is the truth. And therefore, tears flow down from their eyes because they recognize the truth. So forgive and forget. They say, our Lord, we have believed, so write us with the witnesses of this. So the life of this world is but play and amusement. It's the third verse. There's not two verses from the Quran. It's the third verse. The same thing. The life of this world is but play and amusement. The first verse is An'am and Ankabut. The verses Ankabut and An'am. It's the third verse, the Quran, Muhammad. The life in this world is but play and amusement. So when we understood this, everything that occurs, we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un, meaning, everything from you come back to you is yours. Oh Lord, everything is yours. Do what you like with what yours. And that is what the Sufi took it, the meaning of Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. We come from you, we return to you, it's yours 100%. Do whatever you like to yours. And that is, Allah say, they are those on whom descend blessing from Allah and mercy, and they are the one that receive guidance. And therefore, if you don't understand that whatever you did is not your own accord, these are according to the law mahfuz as scripted by Allah. So that's why he does say, I did it not of my own accord. If you can't understand this, how can you be patient? So this is the demarcation line between us. Okay. If you really have the knowledge of God, verily He will teach you knowledge that you will never ever be ignorant. So if you understood this concept, you will never be ignorant. You will never be angry with anybody. You will not be very sad because of calamity or whatever befall you. You will say, Inna lillahi wa inna raji'un. You can forgive and forget. Okay? Let them forgive and show indulgence. Yearn ye not that Allah may forgive you. Allah is forgiving and merciful. But if you forgive and overlook and cover up their fault, verily Allah is oft forgiving and most merciful. To forgive is nearer to righteousness. So forgive and forget because you understood the concept. If you don't, then you may join China and South Korea and the Jew still not forgiving what happened many, many years ago. Good and evil are not equal. Repel evil with good, and the person who was your enemy become like an intimate friend. Okay? This is in the Quran. If you forgive and forget, see, and therefore Japanese can come here and invest, created employment, giving us economic stability and whatnot, help in the economy. They can come here and help, become friend, good friend. You can't, then you. But if you understood this concept, then we can become friends. No problem, because these are the action of the container, not you. We are just a mirage, manifestation, hologram, okay? Then, as such, all form of enormosity and poison are neutralized in the future. When this happens, this is what the Prophet said in the future. All form of enormosity and poison are neutralized in such a manner that even the aura of this wonderfulness, aura of peace, love, this aura, spread even to the animal. All form of enormosity and poison neutralized that even you place your hand In the poisonous snake mouth, he will not bite. Even a lion can play around with a young girl. Even the wolf can look after the sheep, because the aura of this uh, understanding, love, and so on spread not only among ourselves but also to the animal. So, all mankind, we have created you male and female, have made you mutation and stripes that you may know one another. When that happens, we can be together, we can be the citizen of the earth, or the world, and then we can exploit the outer space as citizen of the earth. So Allah say, behold, look, God who caused the sun to come upon the good and evil, likewise the rain. So ought ye to good to all. So please forgive and forget. You understood it. Once you have accepted this, you can forgive and forget. Then you be like him. You're cool. Hello, Joe. Cool. So there, I hope you can understand what I'm trying to deliver today. That everything that you see are the action of the container, not the manifestation. Okay, the real actor is the container. So you should not be angry with the manifestation, because the action is but the action of the container. So forgive and forget, live peaceful ever after, and we can get together along fine throughout the world. So I stop there and continue, inshallah, next week further on this and deeper, so we will make it more clearer. So I'm back to our Ayu.
Ya. Terima kasih Ustadz. Alhamdulillah sahabat semuanya. Baru saja kita simak kelas singkat yang kedua. Baik Ustadz, seperti biasa kita akan lanjut 10 menit untuk zikrullah bersama Ustadz. Silakan Ustadz.
Okay, we shall begin all the time at the end to have cleansing of your mind. When you remember Allah, remember no form, no shape, so you put no data on Him, you cannot form. You cannot visualize Him, all that. So when you think of Allah, your memory should be blank, nothing there, just the memory of Allah. You remember like your name, Ali. You don't form your face, your features, you don't spell your name. So Allah, you don't visualize, you don't spell the words Allah. Okay? So you have to speak it in your mind, Allah, because your mind must know what you want to do. So you say Allah. So the memory of Allah comes, no form, no shape. Then focus on that memory, Allah. Focus. Then you find that your eyelid will be shut, very tight, difficult to open. They are locked. Then that means you are in focus. Your mind, keep it up there. Your eyes, keep it up there, focusing at the memory of Allah. And then steadfast. Please proceed.
Sudah 10 menit, Ustaz.
Okay, thank you everybody. Inshallah we meet again next week. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi